can do it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gon' hustle for mine. Yeah, hustle for mine. Yeah, I'm gon' hustle for mine. Yeah, yeah, I just struggle, I climb. I be dead if I'm lying. I'm gon' bust about mine. Yeah, hey, yeah.
I'ma hustle for mine. I'ma hustle for mine. If they interrogate me, I ain't telling no mind.
Yo. Welcome to King Sportscast. This is episode 7. A little review of the NFL. We're back here with Wayne. Really excited to get him back with us. How's it going, Wayne? How's the weekend been? I know your big Chargers pulled off the big huge victory.
Feeling good about my Chargers, man. Getting hot at the right time. Rivers, unfortunately, in the past few Decembers, he's played good. He just really wasn't playing for much. But, yeah, feeling awesome about that. And, doing the fantasy show, I've been doing a lot of research on a lot of these fantasy players. Ended up being in 2 championships, so ready to prepare for the upcoming week for that as well.
Boom, man. Yeah, I luckily put in Derrick Henry 1 week too late, which I think 14% of users started him that week of the 50 points, so not many can take credit for that, so I'm not that dumb. But, excited to get this playoff push going. Not excited about losing to the Steelers, but it was a little exciting for my Steelers fans, and I did, that they could win it defensively. I thought that was pretty big. I mean, it was if they're going to keep playing the way they played against them, I don't know if they're going to beat the Patriots again, giving Tom Brady multiple chances to go and take it from him.
Yeah, it was more of a Patriots mess up versus, the Steelers actually going out there and winning the game, in my opinion, just from watching.
Brother.
Joe Hayden did play great. He locked up that side of the field, and he made a couple good plays, which one was a big interception when they were only up 4. And other than that, it was more so the Patriots just not really getting a running game going. Tom Brady not really looking comfortable back there. He wasn't getting knocked around or anything, but he just didn't look like the normal Brady we see around December. Which leaves open a little bit of question on his health, Gronk's health, that offense really clicking because they have the weapons, which is weird. Normally we see the Patriots not really have as many weapons as good as they usually play. And right now they have the weapons. They got a healthy Edelman. Gronk's a little older, but he's still there. Sonny Michel, James White, Josh Gordon, all those guys. So it's kind of interesting to me on why they've struggled the past 2 games. You got any insight as far as that?
Yeah, it's an anomaly the way they're playing December. Usually the Patriots are playing better at this point, no matter who's in the lineup, whether they got Joe Schmo lining up at receiver or Randy Moss. But, our offensive line, we lost some players last year, and it wasn't amazing. They're probably the reason we lost the Super Bowl. If you want to take one small play and say that. But, the tackles we had last year were, we've been having pretty good tackles, and our tackle play was atrocious. Our guard play was atrocious. They just a lot of dumb bonehead penalties, which with the Patriots you're always talking about them being the ones who are smarter, not making those mistakes. So I don't know. I think that Edelman's the weirdest one. When I saw him drop the pass, I was just like, that kind of bothered me because he probably made the greatest catch in Super Bowl history, or one of the greatest catches. Obviously, you don't want to throw that the greatest yet, but
Santonio,
yeah, situationally, Santonio probably better, but difficulty, I don't think it was harder. But we're not gonna. We could have a whole episode on greatest catches in Super Bowl history. We'll address that later.
Sure,
we promise. We're gonna record that for you guys. Greatest catches in Super Bowl history. I didn't mean to say it. I said it. But whatever. Let's move on. Edelman dropping was out of character. Gordon has been like that, where he's like he'll make a play. You're like, wow, like that's Josh Gordon, and then half the game he's not there. Gronk has looked slow as dirt. He looks done. Obviously it was just a bad game for him in general, but he looks really slow, like really slow. But when those big guys start getting slow, they really start getting slow. They don't age well. Especially, he's a good blocker, so I'd love to have him continue to block for us and drink beers after we win and smash them on his head for Super Bowl parades. I'd be cool to have a blocking, beer crushing Gronk 5 more years. I don't know if Brady is done. I have a couple listeners who are like thinking Brady's done after this year, and people are doing the same thing about Brady last year. And then, this is still the quarterback who set the record for playoff passing performances less than a calendar year ago. So let's not just throw Thomas. I don't know why people are so excited to throw him under the bus. And I'm like, he's the Grim Reaper. Like, what are you guys talking about? That man, I'm not betting against Tom Brady, but I think we're going to have a tough road. We're not good on the road this year. So someone pointed that out. I forget who it was. We're not playing well on the road. And if we don't have it through at least to the conference championship game in Foxborough, I think it'll be tough for us going forward, the way it looks. But you never know. Negative things happen to the Patriots, and then they go win Super Bowls. So,
yeah, if I were a Patriots fan, really, and I'd try to say this as the most unbiased way as possible, the only team I'd be worried about is the Chargers, and that's only 100%. Because they're more of a complete team than the Chiefs, who are really suspect on defense, and then on you maybe got the Colts who could give them a little bit of a play, but we know that Brady and Belichick aren't going to get beat by the Colts. And then this Steelers game, like I said, it was more so on the Patriots and some stuff that they could easily figure out.
It was offensive line mistakes. That's really, sure. If you broke down the game, it's offensive line. You can't have that many holding calls, false starts. I thought I was watching the Bucks for a little bit, but we could move on from that game. Big win for the Steelers, though. First win against the Patriots in 7 years. One of my good friends. He was freaking out the whole time. He never believed it was happening, even when it happened. So, but something that did happen that I can't believe that happened is the Big Bears, man. The Bears win a division title over the Big Rodgers, actually clinching it on Rodgers. I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. So come to find out after that game, a couple of the all-time greats, from the Packers, I guess you could say they're kind of family, old players that really haven't played since the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, were coming out and putting most of the blame on Rodgers. And honestly, whenever you look at it, I can't really argue against it. From an aspect of talent, we know that he's, got a cannon for an arm. He can run. He can, manipulate the defense, all that good stuff. But from a standpoint of just straight up leadership, and I know this is a tough game, on the road, going in against, my opinion, the best defense in the NFL. Khalil Mack's just been a monster. Rodgers, he's not leading this team at all. And it could be he's checked out, he's hurt, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he is that good. That he, next year, he's got a couple of years left where he can, play at a high level. Next year he could come out, he could, run 12-4, make the playoffs, do good if they get the right coach in there. But at this point, he is checked out mentally. He's not leading the team, and people are going to come after him. This is 2-3 years in a row where he's, been banged up and had to deal with some injuries, but they're not doing shit right now.
Not doing shit for me in fantasy, Wayne. You know that. I'm tired of this man.
Exactly.
Perform. Yeah. I need you to get my 20 every time.
And to take a shot at Rodgers right now, it's a little, do what you want to do because he is a good enough player to rebound. But I just think that they have a lot of shit to figure out. But the Bears, man, they look awesome. The Raiders and John Gruden are just straight eating words as far as, Khalil Mack, trading him. I don't give a shit if it was 3 first-round picks. The dude has more sacks this year than an entire Raiders defense. and that's just all you got to say.
Dumb. It's the dumbest trade of all time. 3 first-round picks, I agree. Like, he's the second coming of Lawrence Taylor. It's unbelievable. Like you said, his sack numbers, you might think, like, why 12.5 sacks? Like, maybe he should have more. It really just says it's 12.5 sacks and he's getting chipped every time or double teamed, and like they're making game plans around him and he's still pushing 2 people back into you.
Man,
yeah,
they showed plays of the edge, him hitting the edge, and then Roquan Smith also on the same side. That is nasty, man. It like 1.7 seconds. They are in your ass if you're the quarterback.
And then they'll
Quick
smack
pause.
you too. Coach of the year. Pause. But coach of the year, man, Matt Nagy. I think it's undoubtable, right? Like taking that Bears team, getting that trade, doing all that. He's got to be coach of the year.
Yeah, I mean, in the playoffs, they have a team that can do some damage. It's going to rely on Mitch and how he runs the offense. But think about
Mitch is the key. If Mitch can just not basically do what Mark Sanchez could never do, and just put that defense. Be Trent Dilfer. Just don't fuck up, man. Be Brad Johnson. Don't mess up.
Be a little bit better than Rex Grossman. Yeah,
just a little bit better than Rex. A little bit better than Mark Sanchez. Between Mark Sanchez and Trent Dilfer, not a crazy board to hit for quality quarterback play. But if you can hit that dart in that section, you could easily. I mean, after watching the Patriots offensive line, give me Breeze, give me all of the other guys. I don't want Khalil Mack and them like just crucifying Brady. And I don't know. That's a scary team, especially if Trubisky can get it together and they get like one more maybe receiving weapon, like a true number 1, maybe another corner. That team is going
Think about
places.
the guys that they got to go through, right? Because they almost have that 1 seed. They're closing in on the 1 seed. But think about the teams they got to go through. Their biggest challenge is more than likely the Saints, who have been playing really good, had a really good defensive game last night on Monday Night Football against the Panthers team that they got playmakers and Cam's hurt, whatever. Saints are probably their biggest matchup. Rams, if I were the Bears, I wouldn't be afraid of them. They just shut them down. There's not much in that NFC that they're going to have to get through to make it to the Super Bowl. And once you get to the Super Bowl, you got some playmakers on that side. Tariq Cohen, you can give him a check down. He could take it to the house. Allen Robinson, he isn't bad. Trey Burton, it's not bad. It's all going to be on Mitch at that point, though.
Yeah, man. That's a scary team. If they can just not. I mean, you see in some of these games when they have just average offensive output, they kill teams. Just kill them. Like, killed the Bucks. When that offense was rolling, they had like 5 touchdowns in the first half or 6. Trubisky was going crazy. More the system, I think, than Trubisky. But that team is scary. They're so good on they're just so good up front. It's crazy.
I'm kind of mad that you switched. That you kind of skipped over my Chargers, man. You gave me a little bit at the beginning. I'll give you that.
I'm pretty sure I gave you the immediate praise going into the show, but I guess that wasn't enough, guys. If you need real sensitive fantasy talk at Highly Offensive, they're super sensitive. You got to give them all their credit when it's deserved. But yes, your Chargers, man. That was a fun game. And old Phillip just pulled one out there, and he didn't come here to tie. He came here to dub. He goes, I didn't call bank, I called game. He went all Paul Pierce on him. I called game.
And after that Monday Night Football game, Rivers is in the MVP talk. He just went beat Mahomes. I know Mahomes can't play defense, and the Chiefs' defense is awful. But if
the winning record stuff matters more than as much as the stats, then I think 100% you're right.
And he did it without Keenan Allen went down in the first series, almost made a hell of a catch for a touchdown, right? No Melvin Gordon, no Austin Eckler. He had his third string running back, and then he was passed into Mike Williams, and he made Mike Williams look like an absolute superstar on Thursday Night Football. And they were down 14. There was a little under 5 minutes left in the game. He had already thrown 2 picks, didn't give a shit. He stood in there. He let him down. He scored. And then, they had a big enough balls to go for 2 at the end of the game to win that one. And I love the decision. Being in Arrowhead, that's a tough place to play. You don't want to go into overtime against Mahomes. He's way too good. He could kill you with one pass. So I'm staying on the table for Phillip Rivers. He's my MVP. I know Mahomes has had a hell of a season. He's closing in on 50 touchdowns total, and I give him all the praise in the world because he's young. But Rivers, in my opinion, deserves that spot. I love what he's doing, who he's doing it with. Their defense is complete. I know you like Derwin James a lot, and he's in the talk for defensive player of the year, not just rookie of the year,
which would be just incredible coming out the gates like that, Sean Taylor-esque. But I think the Chargers are the scariest team coming out of the AFC. If I was an NFC team, to pick your team not to play, because their ceiling is the most consistent and high. Like, they're just good everywhere. Like, every other AFC team, I think, is a huge liability on defense, or they're the Texans, and you just don't know if they're real or not. You want to believe it, but it just seems like they beat the Jets and then lose to irrelevant team. But, I don't know. The Texans, I'm interested.
They don't have a run game.
No.
Yeah, they don't have a run game.
And they just lost Lamar, I think, as well, which would be big.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Really scared of that Chargers team, because they could get, like, with Derwin leading that defense, Melvin and Bosa, I mean, arguably best defensive line front. You could throw that up there with any front, especially pass rushing ability. Like, that's crazy. And getting Melvin back, that team's scary, man. I don't want nothing. I like the Chiefs. I think we could score with the Chiefs. I'd like to get our runs back with the Steelers. I think we got good shots against the Steelers. I don't want the Chargers. Wouldn't mind the Titans. The Colts playing different football than when the Patriots are beating them in the past. So I don't know.
Got a little bit of a running game in Marlon Mack and Andrew Luck. You can't fool him on defense.
Andrew Luck is a top 10 quarterback, and you can come at me if you think anything less of him. But
and I know we were talking. You throw Andrew Luck, take him off of that.
Put him on the Chiefs, bro. They're going undefeated.
Exactly, and take him off that team last year. They were a bottom 5 team.
100%.
It's the same team. They didn't really change much. They picked up an offensive lineman. That's about it. They tightened up the defense a tad. It's still the same team, though. The same team that had 4 wins last year, and now he's got them potentially in a playoff run. Speaking of that, they just shut out the Cowboys, right?
The Cowgirls. The Cowgirls.
Yeah,
when you get shut out, you're the Cowgirls.
They're back to the Cowgirls. They went on a nice little 5-game winning streak. But the Colts, in Indy, shut them out. Zeke couldn't do nothing, which he's banged up right now. He couldn't do anything.
Football's just so weird, man.
It is.
The Colts they lost 6-3 to the Jags. Am I right? Am I right?
6-0.
They got shut out. 6-0.
Yeah.
And then they shut out the Cowboys, who just put the Saints to 10 points. And that same team, they beat the Eagles. The Cowboys beat the Eagles, and then the Eagles went and beat the crap out of the Rams. Like, I don't even understand football anymore. It's crazy. It's been a fun year. I think it's been a big year for the NFL. We've been talking about it, and it's big when you have players like Andrew Luck playing the way they did and beating the Cowboys and making Skip Bayless cry in the little corner of his set, and Sterling Sharp to come out like a psycho.
And then so I like the Colts. I don't think they can beat, they're not on the level to beat the Patriots. But once the Patriots are gone, which is going to happen, right? Tom Brady's going to have to retire.
What? No, it's not going to happen. He's never retiring.
Well, if he does, and Andrew Luck is still playing.
This is about the Colts. We're not talking about Tom Brady's career. Just talk about your Colts.
Andrew Luck can potentially get a Super Bowl, in the foreseeable future. Is all.
While Tom Brady is still playing.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Colts aren't a bad team. They're on a nice little run. 7 of their last 8 they've won, and them and the Titans, we could potentially see 3 AFC South teams in the playoffs, which is crazy to me.
Not one of them be the Jaguars.
Yeah, who were supposed to be a top 3 team this year.
But I thought all the quarterbacks were trash in this league.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
you got good defenses, good running games, trumping some of this quarterback play. But Derrick Henry, man, you mentioned him in the beginning of the podcast for your fantasy team. They just shut out the Giants, which Giants aren't anything, I'll admit it, but they got that run game, going. If they can find a way to get up in games and get Derrick Henry the ball 25 times, man, watch out, because I wouldn't want to hit him. After you're having to tackle that man 2-3 times in a game, just one-on-one. I'm sure whenever he comes back through that line, you're like, shit, man, this is getting bad. But he is running like a beast right now. 170 yards, 2 touchdowns this last game.
Yeah, just wish he figured that out earlier. Maybe I could have had a successful fantasy year, but whatever. That Titans team, it's just, I feel like they showed flashes like this last year, and then they went in the playoffs, and Marcus Mariota couldn't throw 2 yards down the field. So
they got the one playoff win last year, I believe, in the wild card, but then they got absolutely
they beat
stumped.
the Chiefs, I think, with Alex Smith, and then they lost to the Steelers. Or did they beat this? I don't even remember. All I remember is
I think it's the Patriots, actually.
They won.
Lost that
they lost to
division.
the Patriots, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
the Steelers lost to the
division, yeah.
Jaguars, because then the Jags lost to the Patriots. So
Yep.
it's tough when teams win in the regular season, and then the one main game in the playoffs you see is like they don't really do anything that would be like, that's what a playoff team, they're an 8-8 playoff team, and then they put that performance, it kind of is like, well, that's what they were, an 8-8 team. They're better this year. I like seeing Vrabel be successful. Finally, I guess you could call him. Could you call him a Belichick disciple because he's a player? I mean, he's not one of the coaches that left, but you could say he's a Belly disciple, and see him be successful is awesome.
Yeah, and he was a leader of that team, a captain while he played there. Got a few rings. So yeah, he's definitely a disciple.
Champion,
man. He goes out there and
caught a lot of
practices.
touchdowns.
Yeah, he practices with those guys too a little bit. Shows them different moves, things like that. I've seen some film of it in videos, but no, I mean, if the Titans could potentially win 1 or 2 games in the playoffs just because the running game, maybe they get a couple picks or something and put them in good field position. But with Mariota, teams are going to figure out they can load, or they have already figured out they can load the box, and Mariota's not going to beat them with his arm. But yeah, they're pretty far away from making any noise in the playoffs, I think.
Well, let's talk about another team that's far away, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting just the ball ran down their throat like the triple option. I thought Navy was playing them. There was so much running. I was like, what's going on, man?
Yeah, their defense is just seriously pathetic. Like, whatever you want to do to that defense, you can do it. Pass, throw, hook and lateral. It don't matter, man. Triple option. They can't stop nobody.
The only thing they're good at consistently is allowing 30 points.
Exactly. And sometimes Jameis, comes out and keeps the game close, but other times, he's known for those bad games, and he can throw 3-4 picks pretty quick.
We basically have two of the same quarterback. One's just young, and the other one's like 48 and somehow plays really well.
They got a lot of work. A lot of work to do.
It's going to be tough. I don't know how I'm going to be a season ticket holder next year after the last 2 years. To tell you that much. They need I've been actually seeing a lot of reports that they're starting to look into new coaches. They haven't fired Cutter yet, but I'm going to stay close to it. I really think that's I think we need to fire Cutter, get someone new, and if you're going to at least try Jameis one more year, try to get him with a new system and see if you see something that you like with him, and if not, cut ties. If you do, I'm sure you could probably sign him to a more flexible deal with the way everything's turned out. But that's all down the road. I don't know. I watched her cut her last year with season tickets when he actually made the play calls. Like he hasn't been making the play calling this year. I thought the play calling was better this year. We just still aren't. It's starting to. We're not using Jameis the right way, and if we're gonna go forward with Jameis, we need to use him differently. We're basically putting him in situations. We don't block for him on top of that. So
there's no run game.
No run game.
No run game at all.
When you're a quarterback and you the defensive line knows that you're not going to run it and your offensive line's bad, that means you have 2 to 3 seconds to throw the football. And even Tom Brady's not very good in those situations. Usually Tom Brady's really good when they're locking out. Yeah,
so there's no way they can't give them the ball. I mean, they got good pass catchers, right? Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Adam Humphries, Deshaun Jackson when he's healthy.
But Jameis. I mean, the problem that gives people, I think, he played bad again. I mean, he plays bad. I mean, he's still growing. I don't know. I mean, he had a horrible interception. Basically threw it right into the corner's arms. Like wasn't even that far of a throw. But I feel like we're concentrating too vertical and not concentrating on what Jameis was good at, and that's like he's slightly mobile. Like he can kind of like roll out left or right, like let the weapons come to him. We're just trying to throw him deep balls sometimes because of the receivers we have. Probably get rid of Deshaun. But we're gonna dive more into the Tampa sports later, with the Tampa Sports Cast, and we'll tell you guys more into that. But another crazy game was cool. It was cool to see the Niners see Richard Sherman squeeze out a victory against Seattle. That was cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is just another perfect example of how Seattle is a completely different team on the road. Like their defense, I'll give Russ Wilson all the praise because he's throwing dimes. He's leading the team on offense. When the run game's not there, he can still chuck the ball around. But that defense, man, they got torched. And if you look at their road schedule, they've been getting torched most games on the road. They don't play well. They're basically a 20 to 25 ranked defense on the road, and then at home for whatever reason they're easily top 12, top 13, and
top 12. LOL.
And they were they were making a playoff push. They can still make a playoff push, but they get Kansas City next week or this Sunday coming up, and they're coming off a bad loss. They are going to be in Seattle, so that's going to be a really big game.
Yeah, that'll be a big test for Mahomes because that's obviously one of the top 2 toughest places to play, including his home stadium. But yeah, that was a crazy game. We were watching it. Me and my homie were watching that one before I think the Steelers game or during it, one of the two. I got the DirecTV package, so we get to watch all the games. Thankfully. If any of you listeners want the free football package next year, just message me. I'll hook you up. Last game, man. Also Shanahan undefeated in the month of December for the Niners as he still keeps chugging along. I'm really excited to hopefully get a whole year of Garoppolo in him to see what the Patriots really duked out on.
And they got Jerick McKinnon coming back as well. Exciting times for the 49ers. They're going to get a top
It's good to have that
pick.
team be good. They're like the Cowboys. Or the Celtics in basketball. You want them to be good. It's good for the league.
Sure.
Another on that Monday night game, man. Saints kind of took an awkward one. We had previously, I guess, called the game, and we were both way off. I said 24-17. I think you said 31-24, and this ended up being 12-9 and just being a dukester.
Blows my mind, man. Blows my mind. I know there were coming from a fantasy podcast. There were a lot of fantasy implications, right? Kamara was the only guy that really balled out. McCaffrey actually had to throw a touchdown to get his normal output. But Cam and Drew Brees. Neither one of them were worth the shit last night. And then the Saints defense, though, they're getting hot at the right time. At the beginning of the season,
It's still
they
my
let
Super Bowl pick, so
they let somebody like Tampa Bay come out and drop almost 50 points on them. But now they're since week 10, they're leading the league in turnovers, leading the league in picks. They are, I'm pretty sure, leading the league on third down conversions as well. So they're definitely a Super Bowl contender. If Drew Brees can figure out his offense, who they have been slumping a little bit these last few weeks, like you mentioned, the Dallas Cowboys were able to hold them to 10 points. But if they can get that clicking on offense with this defense playing as well as they are, they're definitely a contender. Like we said, there's not much in the NFC.
I really like what I've been seeing from the Saints. They won a rainy divisional game, losing by 11 against the Bucks. I watched Drew Brees, and it wasn't like a clean. Like they had to scrap that one out, and they scrapped one against the Panthers, another divisional game. So you like seeing Drew Brees being outside, playing a slow game. Maybe the weather's not good, and him winning a game that's close. As much as you want to see them, kill it on offense, those are good signs. And then you see the defense too. Like if you can win defensive games, like we're talking about the Saints winning defensive battles. And yeah, they have a fluky game against the Cowboys, but I mean, how many teams go 16-0 and win the Super Bowl? It hasn't happened. So teams are going to lose games. Like, that's okay. That's football. The Patriots lost to the Chiefs on Monday night embarrassingly, and they won the Super Bowl at the end of the year. It's okay. Saints fans, you know it's all right because they've been slowly putting up wins, and they've been winning in all types of fashions. They'll run the football. They'll throw the football. They'll run up the score. They'll win by 3. That's a Super Bowl team, winning any way you can and having a great quarterback, a good defense that can rush with 4 against. That was my Super Bowl pick. I'm staying with them. I think if Brees gets his second chip, I mean, he's starting to crawl into top 5 easy top 5 QB of all time.
And another thing to consider, they just, with the Rams losing the way they did, and they've lost 3 in a row. Or played bad 3 in a row. They lost 2 of the last 3. The Saints just had taken over that number 1 spot in the NFC playoff picture. So that means that if they are able to, find a way to win these last couple games, they have a real chance of having home field advantage throughout the entire NFC side of the playoffs.
Oh,
man,
my God, that's sketchy.
Drew Brees at home. That is intimidating for any team. I don't
Chalk
care
it
who
up,
you are.
boys. Chalk it up.
Kamara at home on that turf, man, indoors. Guys like that where they just can use that speed, that finesse in open space. Drew Brees, New Orleans, they're a tough place to play. I mean, that fan base gets loud too. So that's, just off your point, that's going to be a tough road in the NFC to go through New Orleans, especially for like a Rams or a Mitch Trubisky on the road, things like that.
Yeah, man, tough year for Cam, starting out 6-2. People were like, maybe Cam is gonna be Cam, and oh my God, it's just been tough. It's sad. I want Cam to be good so bad. Like I want him. You gotta love the way he plays football. He's a football player playing quarterback. So hopefully he can come back next year, have like a full good year because. With McCaffrey and everything they got going around, there's a lot of good things. I think that Olsen injury really just ruptured that team. Like watching Greg Olsen go down like that again, it was tough.
Yeah,
but
I mean, they got good, like you said, they got good playmakers. Funchess,
defense
solid.
isn't the
DJ
way it
Moore.
used to be. I mean, they even top 10 defense for 3 or 4 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they need to definitely hit the draft hard on the defensive side because I think the offense is there. I really do.
And last but not least, the Eagles, man, just kicking the teeth out of the Rams, just kicking the teeth. And I was giving them no hope, but you know what they did is they put in Big Dick Nick, and that man saved the day.
Yeah, dude. He's got a lot of noise going on in Philly with. Like we were talking before, if he's able to bring them back into the playoffs, okay, just check one. and then win 1 or 2 games. He doesn't have to go to the Super Bowl. He doesn't have to win the Super Bowl. He's already done that. They really have to consider using this guy next year over Carson Wentz. And I love Carson Wentz. I think he's, a really good player, but he's hurt right now. And rushing him back is not going to help anything. So let him get healthy. You've got a good quarterback right there who has already proven he can win. The defense looked different. The run game looked different. Alshon Jeffrey was getting targets. Everything was hitting. And in the NFC East, there's a chance.
Or do they completely switch the tables of how you play football and start Carson Wentz for the first 12 to 13 weeks and then always play Nick Foles for the last 8 and win Super Bowls? Maybe that's the way you play football now. I don't know. Stay tuned, guys. I mean, this could be the way it's played. I don't know. But honestly, if he does anything, like if he gets to another NFC Championship game, I just don't like the storylines are going to be incredible in the summer after this Super Bowl. Just hilarious.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be fun. Like, heading into this week, week 15, there wasn't a lot going on. The playoff picture was pretty much.
I said the Eagles weren't relevant to one of my listeners, and I walked up to him in the gym, and he goes, "The Eagles aren't relevant? The Eagles aren't relevant?" And I was like, all right, yeah, I ate my words there.
A lot of shit changed this weekend, man. Low-scoring games, defense all the way around, and a lot of teams got upset.
Last 2 or 3 weeks, man, have just been crazy. The different types of losses and how it affects. I mean, we're talking 2 or 3 weeks ago. The Rams are the best team, no doubt. Patriots are about to coast this 1 seed. The Steelers are falling apart. Now the Steelers are going to win their division again. The Browns might sneak in. It has been absolutely it's been a great, exciting NFL season, especially coming off of the protest season, if you want to call it.
And we definitely need to talk about Lamar Jackson. We kind of skipped over him just a little bit, but they're already talking about trading Joe Flacco, to a team. And, I mean, somebody's going to go after him, right? And they are going to give him the respect of trading him to a destination that he wants to go, because it's Lamar Jackson time in Baltimore. And you can mark that down. He's winning games. I know his schedule hasn't been tough.
It's fun to watch, games. Man. Making running the football exciting.
And it's just like Mitch Trubisky's situation. He doesn't have to do a lot. He just has to not turn the ball over and let that defense play. Because if he does that, they can run the ball. They can kill that clock.
I liked what I see against the Bucs, man. He really he was making the right throws, making good decisions. Just nothing crazy. Not making Peyton Manning throws all over the field or crazy Patrick Mahomes throws, but just doing enough because they have a couple. I mean, that run game just looked mean. Like you get them,
and he's only going to get better. He's only going to get.
Oh,
yeah,
he's a baby.
But honestly, me being a Chargers fan, they play them this weekend on Saturday.
That's a fun.
I'm nervous about this game. Yeah, I'm nervous about it because
should be.
The Ravens have a good defense,
and they have to. They have to win this game more than the Chargers.
Yep. They do. They can take over that division, with a couple of wins. And, the Chargers, I think this, if they come out and they beat the Ravens, I'm pretty sure it's on the road, then I'm going to feel 100% confident about them being legit. I love the Chiefs win, but
that's a big game. I'm excited about that one.
Me too, man. It's going to be fun weekend of games. There's a lot of crucial games, like we were saying, Seattle, Kansas City game, Chargers, Ravens, Patriots, Bills. I'm just kidding. They're gonna smack the Bills this weekend, I believe.
Hey man, the Bills are 5-8 right now, or 5-9 or something. They were supposed to be the worst team ever, and they almost. I don't know. I just don't know. They literally had a corner retire at halftime this year. Vontae Davis, right?
Yeah.
Retired at halftime. They were so bad. They were losing like 40-0, and he's just like, I'm good. Like I'm good on this. I don't do football no more. Like, and he was a good player, man. Like, so it was crazy. There's some stuff online if you guys want to look into it of why he retired, and maybe understand a little more, but definitely the shock value when it happened. You're just like, at halftime, like, boy, go play another damn half. What the fuck? Like, but to each its own. But man,
Josh Allen's looking good. Their defense is looking good.
I mean, he looks like a little baby Cam Newton. If you can just get him to like be a better passer than Cam's been traditionally, you got to be excited about that. Especially think about it, if he can get to a level and that team can surround himself with a team that could run the football well in the winter. Like, think if they have a good record going into, I mean, this is okay, real hypothetical, guys. The Bills have a good record going into December and they have snow games, so you need to run the football down people's throats. I mean, Josh Allen would be a horrible person to tackle on 3rd and 1. Like,
we've seen Shady in the snow. He is like one of the most, like,
he has plus 10 agility in the snow.
Yeah, I've ever seen in the snow, man. He is unbelievable in the snow. It's like impossible for him to get tackled. And then, like you were saying, if Josh Allen can find a way whenever he runs the ball so well. Like he's had like multiple games where he's rushed for over 80, 90 yards. But if he could put together that cannon he has for an arm with that run where he's rolling out, you know, Aaron Rodgers-esque, Patrick Mahomes-esque, and launching it downfield, yeah, watch out.
Yeah. I mean, everyone in the AFC seemed like they have a quarterback going forward, other than our brittle 41-year-old. But yeah, so that's about it. Hey guys, really appreciate you. Make sure you're subscribed. We got another cool basketball episode coming out really soon for you guys. Just real in depth about the first quarter of the basketball season. Also, releasing within the day, we have a Tampa sports cast for all you Tampa guys. Rays, Lightning, Bucks, USF. I'm gonna be with my boy Michael, who was in the last episode. A lot of info there, and just more concentrated on your Tampa sports. We have a lot of Tampa homers that listen in, so I know you guys are excited for that. And that's about it, man. Appreciate you coming on again, Wayne, and I'm excited to talk some basketball next episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, man. I love talking football. I love talking basketball and everything in between. The fantasy playoffs for most leagues, the championships this weekend. If you need last-minute advice, I know if you're in the championship, you're probably good enough to set your lineups, but we got some interesting plays. I know as myself, I'm dealing with a shit ton of injuries, man. Like, had Kareem Hunt, who assaulted some random girl at a hotel. He's gone. Spencer Ware was then hurt. I had to rely on Damian Williams. Melvin Gordon's hurt. I'm dealing with a bunch of shit, so I know there's more people out there dealing with, typical fantasy bullshit, but the stuff we have to figure out how to set our lineups. Highly Offensive Fantasy Show is the perfect spot to go find that information, and we'll help you. Defenses, stuff like that. We'll help you stream those guys too.
100%, guys. Honestly, I haven't been playing fantasy. I've only done it a couple years, and this year I wanted to do my own league. And without his show, and especially just Wayne himself, I definitely wouldn't have understood off half the things that got me back into the playoffs. I made a miraculous comeback. If your boy could just put up a whole season, he might actually squeeze out this money. But
hey, that's a good point though. Hit me up on social media. DM. I'll answer your question on Highly Offensive, Instagram, Twitter, anything like that.
You need your fantasy football advice, Wayne's your man.
Yep, hit me with the direct message and I'll help you out.
And obviously you can message me too for anything sports related, and I can always reroute you to Wayne. So appreciate you listening, guys. We'll be back soon for some more content. Peace.
See y'all.
I had to boss up for a check. I had to step on these niggas' neck. I had to go and get a couple strikes. I had to trap all day and night. I remember them cold nights. I hit her like I just got out the pen. I buy a brick, then I go get it in. I'm a boss, I can override you. Come here, girl, let me get inside you. Come here, girl, let me jump behind you. Play with me and I'ma come and find you. I had to go and get a couple strikes. I had to trap all day and night. I had to boss up for a check. I had to